after reports have surfaced of supply shortages and mental health issues aboard the warship carrying more than 5,000 sailors and Marines. The aircraft carrier has been deployed for a record-setting more than 240 days uninterrupted due to this conflict in Iran. Here with us to discuss more is retired Marine intelligence officer and Strat podcast host, Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer. Thank you for being with us again. Let me start with the USS Abraham Lincoln. We know that Admiral Brad Cooper put out a statement after visiting the Lincoln saying the deployment is, quote, one of the most operationally intense and consequential of the modern era. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is claiming that that quote has been misrepresented. What is your take on this situation with sailors and Marines aboard the USS Lincoln?
Well, Alicia, it has been an intense op tempo. I think there was like 10,000 sorties that were flown off it during this period. Obviously, it's a long deployment. Most deployments are aimed for about 6 to 7 months. This one, of course, is going into 10 months. It's not the longest deployment ever, but it is a very long deployment, and that wears on, the minds of the sailors and Marines that are deployed. But it is something that they're kind of used to. We've had long deployments for a long period of time. This is a war. They have been obviously working really hard, but it's wearing on them. It's wearing on their families. But from what I have seen, there isn't really anything anomalous in terms of what's been said. Of course, replenishment at sea has had its problems, and they are dependent on replenishment at sea. And sometimes you get short of certain food items in the mess. But other than that, it seems like they're, I hate to say, I hate to dispute everybody, but it's what you would expect with a 10-month deployment.
Let me ask you about the USS George Washington, because that is heading now to the Middle East. Is that, though, leaving a security risk or a blind spot in the Pacific, given that that was the last carrier that was there?
That's a real problem. That is. And it's, of course, obviously the West Pacific is a critical area. You have North Korea there. You have the ongoing threat from China, possible threat to Taiwan of a military action there from China. And we obviously want to maintain a high level of deterrence towards China and towards North Korea as well. With that said, we're going to have a gap. The George Washington will be in the Middle East. The Abraham Lincoln will be steaming across, going back to San Diego. For a period, it will be in the West Pacific, but I don't think it's going to slow down. It's just going to keep going. So there's a period of a couple, 3 months here where we're just not going to have a carrier battle group, permanently stationed there. And that's been a problem. That's not new to this administration. It's a problem that was forecast a long time ago.
Over the course of the last 6 months, you and I have talked several times about this conflict, and particularly about the Strait of Hormuz. 2 weeks ago, there were talks that the Strait of Hormuz could open any moment now, but that has seemingly dwindled over the last 2 weeks. President Trump even threatening this week that the Strait of Hormuz could become a U.S. territory once this war with Iran is wrapped up. Now, Iran's deputy foreign minister has responded and said the Strait of Hormuz is Iranian, will always be Iranian. My question to you is, are these threats from the president, A, real, and B, are they making the tensions worse? And if that's the case, what are we talking about in terms of how long before this critical waterway is truly open? Again, now going on 6 months of it being mostly closed.
Well, the rhetoric surrounding these threats always has problems. I wouldn't say anything about the Iranian stuff, because the Iranians, they throw threats like this out there all the time. Obviously, the entire strait is not Iranian waters.
Yeah.
It is split between Iran and Oman. Oman has a big territorial water presence there. So that's just geographically wrong. The U.S., the president said he was joking afterwards, but obviously it's not going to become a U.S. territory. Obviously, it's a violation of international law, the UN Convention Law of the Sea, a lot of other things. But I think he was trying to say it's going to be controlled by the U.S. Navy. It kind of is to a certain extent, although there's still this very credible Iranian threat with drones and missiles against shipping there. It's some of this stuff is really kind of counterproductive, because when you're talking about asserting U.S. territorial rights on a sea lane like this, or a zone, then you have China trying to create this, or claiming the entire South China Sea as their territorial waters. And it can, even if it's meant as a joke, it can provide propaganda points to some of our adversaries elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's kind of the concern I've heard from a number of people. And again, speaking to the timeline, it makes you think that we are a lot farther than we were hoping 2 weeks ago to seeing that critical waterway open for the benefit of gas prices and so much more, but also hopefully leading to the end of this conflict. We're going to have to leave it there, but we'll continue to follow it. I know you have been with us doing that. Retired Marine Intelligence Officer, Strat podcast host, Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer. Thank you.
Thanks, Alicia.
Of course. All right.